Hello everyone, my name is Kevin Huang and today I'm going to be breaking down how to apply for the Gilman Scholarship and how I won over $10,000 in scholarships, not only through Gilman but also other scholarships, and what you can do to make your application stand out. I'm going to go over some facts, some mistakes, and tips and how to break down this essay and to give you what the reviewers are actually looking forward to. So first, let's start with a quick overview of the Gilman Scholarship. So Gilman is the State Department signature undergraduate study abroad scholarship of the Gilman Scholarship. So Gilman is the State Department signature undergraduate study abroad scholarship. Roughly around 16,000 apply every year, but only 1 in 4 win, a 25% acceptance rate. And these scholars, you can go to anywhere up to 170 plus countries. And so for this scholarship, most of these recipients are first generation or from small towns. And actually, for last year's cycle, or the most previous one, it was actually confirmed that 100% of all recipients were Pell Grant recipients. So it's geared towards those who maybe don't have the resources to study abroad, and Gilman wants to give you guys a way to break through that and study abroad, be an ambassador for the United States, and to experience all that there is out there. So let's go over why it exists. So Gilman exists to democratize global experiences, like I said before. Traditionally, studying abroad, it's very expensive and only for those who could afford it. But Gilman's goal is to provide equal access for anyone that wants to study abroad, mainly for those first generation eligible students who maybe don't have the resources to. So the main thing is that they really want to focus on your story, what makes you unique, and you aren't just looking at only your grades or resumes, though I do think your grades play a good part. And so let's go over the stage. So when I applied back in, it was different. There was 3 essays, and now there's 4 short essays, but they're really all the same. It's all about crafting your narrative, and a lot of the prompts from back then overlap here now. And it's just that it's different. It's not harder or easier. It's just different, but the same themes, topics, and message still stands in how you write your essays. So you're gonna write 4 sharp, concise essays, and they're all gonna spotlight a different part of your journey. But the North Star, like I said, is unchanged. Every answer is supposed to be authentic and specific as you can, and you want to create a whole story from those 4 essays. They should all be flowing together like a book, separate chapters. And even though some will be different, you can always tie them back to each other, and they should always be referencing back to each other. And they can see that, wow, this is a story, your own unique narrative. So every essay is a new opportunity to show who you are, what you overcome, and what you will do with this opportunity if you are given. And together, they form a complete narrative that sets you apart. So the first essay, the first 2 essays are actually very similar to the old statement of purpose, but first it goes over your motivation, your why here and why now. And so what you really want to hit on for this essay is the unique reason for this country/program. You want to connect it to your future and how this will help in your future goals or aspirations. And of course, you want it to be as personal as possible. The reviewers want to know why you have to go to this place, why you must go to this place, and how it fits into your life right now. So I'm going to be using examples from my own essay. I'll just use some specific parts. I'm not going to show everything. But the general theme of my essay, of my statement of purpose, was that I started with my whole narrative, my story coming from even before high school, setting it up, going into school, and how I want to experience all these things. And we'll just go into it now. So first, I have some excerpts from my essays that show why I needed to go to Taiwan and why this was the best place for me. So first, I have studying abroad at National Chengchi University in Taiwan will afford me the chance to explore new opportunities and broaden my views of a global industry. And for further context, I was a business major in management information systems, so technology and business, and so just for background information. And second, I have NCCU, a dedicated MIS department, one of the first among universities in Taiwan, which showcases the importance they place on MIS and tech. I have also put Taiwan is known for its robust technology sector with many tech giants, maybe you guys know, such as TSMC, that produces all the important semiconductors. And of course, this would set me up in my future dream of starting my own cybersecurity company. I did a lot of research beforehand into the school, as you can see how I know they have a dedicated MIS program, how not only in the school environment, but in the external environment, Taiwan is the perfect place for me, for my goals, in which I want to learn more about business and technology, and how that Taiwan is at the forefront with a lot of like the semiconductor companies. And so they all play into each other. And also I have UB's business school is strong, but its MIS concentration is lacking. Taiwan is the only place where I can truly connect my tech curiosity with hands-on experience. And even before this line, I wrote that I had already completed all of my MIS UB. So what else more was there for me to learn at UB? So again, I'm creating that narrative that like in order for me to learn more, I need to go somewhere else, and that somewhere else is Taiwan. And I'm listing out the reasons why it's Taiwan, all that I can afford, all the tech opportunities, the school, the whole overall environment. And of course, I do have one line that says low income students like myself struggle to study abroad, and scholarships like Gilman help with tuition and day to day living. The main thing is that you don't really want to talk about your financial hardships because that's applying for the scholarship already gets aid from the Pell Grant, so they know that. So there's no point trying to turn this into a pity story or a sob story. Maybe one or two lines about what this can do for you, but mainly you want to go back to story of what you can do with the scholarship. And so number two, we're gonna go to your skills and preparedness, in which you really want to focus on adversity and growth because that's what they want to see. They don't want to just give the scholarship to anyone. And so this isn't about perfection, but it's about how you deal with setbacks and how those moments prepare you for everything abroad. They want to know that you can handle yourself abroad, that you've been through things in the past that giving you experiences. And this is both like just both living in the real world. So for me, how I overcame adversity and growth is that I was vulnerable and I admitted that I failed a class in my freshman year, but I learned from my mistakes, retook the class, and earned an A, which this shows that I can deal with maybe some of the academic pressures that come with studying abroad in another environment. And next, I faced a plagiarism slash citation issue due to my own carelessness, but with my professor's guidance, I learned the importance of integrity in writing and accountability. Again, this shows that I have these setbacks, but every time I'm going back forward and taking accountability and taking steps and actions to get better, and that's what they really want to see. If everything in your essay is all good, then it doesn't really make for an exciting story. And why would they want to give to someone that's almost perfect? They want to give to someone that maybe has a couple of setbacks, but they push through, they persevere. These are the types of people that they want to represent the U.S. when you are abroad. And so, even talk about what I did in high school. This is again saying about my whole story. School, AP classes, leadership roles, while still working every day. That just shows that I can deal with all of the pressure. And again, it was challenging to balance academics and the demands of working at my parents' restaurant, but those years shaped my work ethic and commitment. Because of this, this shows that I am prepared to go abroad and that when I go abroad, I know that I'm going to face setbacks, but they know that I can overcome it because everyone knows what they know that no matter who goes, they're going to face some sort of setback, and you can't lie here and say you haven't been through anything. So you really just want to show them that you have the ability to push through, to persevere, to reiterate, to get back up, and to show that you are the type of person that that can show resilience and growth as well. And so for the third essay, citizen diplomacy, this is super similar to the mutual understanding essay from previous years. And really, this is about bridging cultures, engaging with the host community, and drawing upon your identity. And you want to connect all of these three dots. And so the main question is, how will you represent America and yourself? What unique skills and perspectives will you bring? And so this is one that everyone will truly be different. Let's go to what I have first. So I put, as a Chinese American, I struggled growing up deciding which part of my heritage I identify more with, of Chinese American. And I have a whole story set up where I initially was ashamed of that I couldn't speak Chinese very well and all of this. But then I said, since visiting China around 2 years ago, I learned to cherish my dual identity and take pride in my heritage. And then because of that, I can both confidently represent the best of American culture and values while also being able to relate to students in Taiwan who share similar cultures. And so this really shows that I can kind of have experience in both sides because Taiwanese culture is similar to American culture. But again, this is very specific to me, but you all have a very specific story or experience that you can rely back on. And this is one of those parts where you can truly go outside the box and show how you can represent. And maybe you don't have that strong of a tie to the cultural values of that community, but that's also good. That maybe opens up an opportunity for you to go above and beyond to say how you can connect and what you plan to do while you're there. And so, going to my next point, I put plan to join clubs like the Information Management Student Club, the Tea Connoisseur Club, the Bible Study Club. This is all me doing extra research on the school and seeing what they offer and what I can join. And this is also super important when you're writing about in the first essay, the motivation. You want to do more research into school. They want to see that you did research into the classes they offer, the professors, what they really do, because that shows that you're taking the initiative to do the research to show that, wow, this place is the place for me, that I have to study here. And then I also have experience working at my parents' restaurant, that the restaurant taught me to be proactive, personable, and find pleasure in meeting new people, and I can carry these experiences with me to Taiwan. So here I'm referencing back on past skills to show that I'm also that socializing and talking with other people is a very big part, and I'm just showcasing that I can do that. So again, this is a super important essay. These are important, but this one you can really be creative and show what you can do again. And if you show that how you can represent the U.S., you can draw upon your own experiences. But really, going back to these 3 points, you want to talk about building bridges. You can connect both sides, how you can engage with the host community, and drawing on your identity. And you really want to connect these 3 parts. And so the 4th essay, this is the follow-on service project. This is important, but this is probably one of the easier essays to do, because you don't want to say that you're going to do something crazy back home. What they really want to see is that you're choosing something specific, that's actionable, and that you can very reasonably do at home, because that's what they want to see. There's no point talking about something grand and ambitious if it's too hard for you to complete it. So target a real audience, use your networks at school that you built up, and you want to set clear, actionable goals. And so this prompt is, after you return, how will you multiply the impact? Gilman wants to see you inspire and help others follow your path. And so this is what I put. And obviously everyone's going to have their own networks, own experiences. So I put my follow-on service project, which is creating informational sessions by leveraging my network on campus. It's as simple as that. Part of a business fraternity called Alpha Kappa Psi. And for me, it would be able to, create a presentation, do some public speaking, and speak to everyone. And also that professor that encouraged me to apply for this Gilman Scholarship, which is also the professor that I had the plagiarism issue writing with, and I connected all back there and showing how we were able to move forward. And that professor, not only did he recommend me to apply, but he really wants me to speak to his classes about my experiences. And also I'm part of my school's honors program, so again I could just go to some of the honors classes, experiences, whatever they're having, and just talk to them in person. And so this part is really simple. You just want to really show that you're going to do it. And it's also this getting it on, that I wanted to make a video to talk about the Gilman more and help people study and find and know the best tips and tricks to break through. So this part, it's best to keep it super simple and just show that you come back, you're ready to work, and that you want to just spread Gilman. And so I'm going to go over, I think this is the most important part, or the thing that will stand out the most for some of you guys, is my own tips that I use to make the best essay that I could. And so the first one is that I think you guys need to read every single Reddit thread, every Reddit post that there is on applying for the Gilman. There are so many people out there giving advice. Some of them even offer their full essays. Some people talk about their failures and their mistakes, and it's just a lot of place to get a lot of information about what other people that are in your exact shoes are doing to apply for this. And so, aside from the Reddit, another big one is getting feedback from academic advisors or your school writing center. This one is super important. As good as you are at writing, realistically, there's no way you're getting, this good of an essay to win $4,000, $5,000 on your first or second try. You should be going back to your advisor, the school writing center, 4 to 5 times. You're going to keep on reiterating, reflecting, and just really making sure that you're making the full use of your words and essays, and just getting feedback. Because if you think it's good, that doesn't mean it's good. And realistically, getting someone else to take a second, third, fourth, fifth chance at it, really your chances of success. And so in bold, these are my best ones. So I put, don't write for the $5,000. Money, as nice as it sounds, it won't motivate you the full way. What will motivate you the full way is if you imagine yourself in that host country, if you already won the Gilman and you are in that country and you're living your daily life, you're going about, you're exploring, you're traveling, you're getting to meet new people, you're experiencing all these new and novel things, and I want you to, and you're writing about the result and not the hope. And this is what really kept me going and kept me super motivated, is that I could clearly picture in my mind how my life was going to be great and amazing, that I'm going to make the best use of this scholarship because of the money to have these great experiences. And that's what really got me through. On the money, while it is nice, it's a lot better to focus on the result and how it's going to make you feel while you are there. And as part of that, as part of the motivation, you want it to be relatively urgent. So I told myself, it was actually, I talked to my professor after my second essay, and he told me that the mindset I need to have is that I need the Gilman to do what I want. I want to accomplish, and my goals for the future won't happen unless I get the Gilman to study abroad in Taiwan. You have to get into the mindset of it's life or death, because this is a very competitive scholarship. $4,000 for writing words is a little crazy. And so you really have to trick yourself. I tricked myself, just kept thinking in my mind that I need the Gilman to study in Taiwan. Where else can I study? I finished my concentration on UB for MIS. How am I going to learn more? I need to go to Gilman. I need the Gilman to go study in Taiwan. I want to see all semiconductor companies, because they're the future of tech. I need to be in that specific environment so that I can start my future goal of starting my own cybersecurity company because I need those experiences. And so that's what I think is maybe the most important thing that you guys have to get into your head, that when you really embody that, then your writing, just the way you write will be very honest and powerful, and that the reviewers will really be able to feel what you're saying, and they're just not seeing some words on the screen. Because the way I went about it is that, in my mind, this is scholarship, very prestigious. People from across the country are competing for this. So everyone is a standout. Everyone have it together. They probably have good grades. They have lots of experiences in school and personal life that they can talk about. They most likely already overcame resilience and lots of growth that they can speak to and talk about. And so everyone is good, and the competition is high. And so you really have to find what sets you apart and really go deep and show it. I remember when I was applying, I think back to my junior year, that whole 2 months of April and March, is that I don't really remember anything else except just writing the essay. And not so much even writing the essay, but just there and just reflecting on my essay, because every single word really matters when you're writing this essay, and every single word, comma, dash, whatever, needs to have a purpose. Everything needs to flow together. It needs to be concise, and it really needs to showcase how much you really want the scholarship, because you can't just be somewhat passive about this, because there are people like me who really want it and kept thinking about it for months. Even after deadline passed, I was checking on the portal every single day, even though I know it wasn't going to come out for 2 months, because I believed in myself so much that I was going to get it. And the reason why I believed so much I was going to get it was because I already knew going back that I knew that I was going to Taiwan, and that feeling that of me living life in Taiwan, meeting new people, getting to do this, seeing these companies. And I knew that that feeling was just so strong that I knew I was going to have it. And I did have it. And so some extra tips is that you can apply to certain countries that give more Gilman scholarships because of their government aid. And so if I look at this letter that they release, this was this past December, they usually release one after every cycle. I can see that there are 5 countries that offer extra Gilman scholarships. So these are Germany, New Zealand, Wales, Portugal, and Taiwan, Taipei, and they'll provide additional scholarships. And I know from doing prior research that Taiwan actually gives out an extra 50 Gilman scholarships, which is a crazy amount. I don't know how much the other 4 give out, but it's 10 extra, that increases your chance too. And so a good way to maybe go about your is that maybe you start out choosing one of these countries because you're higher, and then working back, seeing how maybe this country has the specific program, the specific environment that I need to accomplish my goals, my motivation as to study abroad. Because your study abroad just can't be, I want to experience new things, to go and just, have a good time. But you really need to make it specific to that country and how that school and that environment, the people, how it's going to help you accomplish your goals. And so here's another tip, is that you can look at all of these schools that have a crazy number of Gilman recipients. You can see BYU, the University of South Florida, 44, etc., etc. You find that maybe if you aren't getting the right aid or just want another perspective, is that you can look up all of these schools and you just put Gilman Scholarship, and most likely because they have such a robust amount of people winning, they probably have lots of external resources that your school might not have. The informational resources, Zoom sessions, just even tips or tips. If you really want, if you have the extra time and you prepare early enough, you could even message some of these professors or the head of these programs at these schools asking for help. And they back to you, they might not, but get an extra perspective. And if these schools are producing this many recipients in a year, have a really good but specifically a really good Gilman one where they probably have a lot of past Gilman winners on their team giving advice, and there's no reason why you can't take advantage of that because now you know schools and you can do more research yourself. And here's the big one. This is how I made $10,000. Because Gilman only gave me 4,000, but because by applying for Gilman, I set myself up to apply for all of my scholarships at my school. So, like I said, writing for Gilman did just for me that scholarship. It supercharged every other application I wrote that year. Compared to a national stage, your school are a lot easier and there are a lot less competition. The topics I talk about in the Gilman, these are the exact themes or phrases that any scholarship looks for. You just have to slightly work it around, but that main message will always be there. And so that's what I did. I just reworded. I only had to change a few little words, and I ended up winning over $6,000 in scholarships simply because my base was already so much better. Because in my mind, I'm competing for a national scholarship, and so when I take that scholarship and I apply it to school level, how could I not win at least one or two extra school scholarships? And so, for the scholarship that I won, I got an extra $1,000 just because no one else bothered to apply for it. So aim big and you will win more than you expect. And so this is the end. And is that, take one thing from this is that you need to dream bigger than you think is reasonable. You really have to be delusional, like I said before, just, thinking that I need the scholarship, I am worthy of this scholarship, and that, you know, really think that it's reasonable and that you think you're good enough. And of course, you put in the work alongside that. And, the national stage, even if you feel unqualified, because even if you don't get the Gilman Scholarship, if you wrote to that standard, like I said before, there's no way you can't get an extra couple scholarships at your school. And it still accomplishes, that the Gilman that, maybe have less resources are getting the resources that they need to go out and abroad and experience things and represent the United States as an ambassador. So treat every essay and every draft as a launch pad. The skills, the stories, and the confidence you build don't disappear no matter where you go next. While in Taiwan, I got another scholarship. Like I said before, I'm just reusing what I wrote in the Gilman. And if you spend a lot of time on that, that's a perfect foundation for the rest of your college career and applying for scholarships. And so, your story deserves this platform and focus on what these opportunities unlock, which is adventure, growth, and real life change. And you really need to iterate this in your essay. You really talk about what this can do for you. You want to talk about how you can grow, that you can overcome just from studying abroad and all the amazing things that are going to happen. And they want to see that, this potential, which is why I want to give them the scholarship. Like I said before, why would I want to give a scholarship to, someone that travel? Who doesn't want to travel? So again, you need to get lots and lots of feedback, professors, friends, your school career writing center, anywhere, like maybe like at other schools, look at what they're doing. You need to be incredibly specific and vulnerable too. You want to be specific and vulnerable, show all the good and bad of your story, show the bad of your story, but then also show how you overcame that bad and you turn it into the good, and obviously go all in. And so, I'm going to be posting this on YouTube. I guess if you have any questions, wants, or needs, you can drop a comment. This as I'm recording this. And so the October deadline has already passed. And so for most of you guys, if you watch this or you don't watch this and you don't get it in October, then that means a lot more people are going to be applying in the spring, which means the spring is usually has a lot more competition because that's when people usually apply for the fall or the fall program or 4-year program. most people apply in the spring. And so not only are you competing against more people, but you're competing against the people who applied in October and failed to get it. And now they're probably more motivated after, seeing and more motivated to get back to writing their essays, making sure that they're making the most of what they have and just keep working at it. And so, you guys, good luck.